Good evening, Galactic Jedis, freedom fighters, and patriots. Welcome to another live stream. Today, I have another transmission, a report, actually the latest Jupiter delegate transmission, that it has officially reported that Earth is now known as an officially classified world that is under protected ascended guardianship from the custodians. In addition to that, I'm going to go over some recent interstellar developments regarding what's going to be happening after the Earth's ascension. Great news, as well as some alliance maneuvers and council directives. I'm also going to go over some Space Force level strategic operations. And part of the best galactic briefing that you guys are going to love in taking all of this is that the Earth Alliance is now completing the millennia long task of tracking, isolating, and removing the last remnants of the Nephilim bloodlines. Okay, so now I'm also going to go over the new Earth Council that will be forming after the Ascension, and I'm also going to go over the first 100 years of the new Earth and what life will be. A lot of people ask me, well, what is life going to be on the new Earth? Well, I'm going to go over the first 100 years that will, of course, be the beginning, early stages of the millennium. So I'm excited about tonight's live stream, guys. I hope you guys are too. And for those that don't know me, my name is Ismael Perez. I am the author of those two amazing books right behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, and of course, Our Cosmic Origin, both which are restoring vital information back to the Earth. I also want to extend gratitude to each and every single one of you, not only for those that are on the chat, but also for those that watch it on the replay. Thank you guys so much for having an interest in this amazing information. I also want to extend gratitude to my moderators, both Wolf Mother and Starcadian. Thank you guys so much for keeping the chat in a high vibration. And last but not least, guys, my January classes are still up for grab. Class doesn't begin till the 3rd or 4th, which is either on a Saturday or Sunday. I only require 2 weeks of your time, all right, for 2 hours each, either Saturday or Sunday. Check the times. 3-level Ascension courses. And again, I would advise for you to first take 2.0 before 3.0. I come to find out that some people are just taking 3.0, but are having difficulty grasping all of that higher level metaphysical knowledge. Okay, so take 2.0 before 3.0, not to mention they go hand in hand. And then for those that are interested in learning about the entire cosmic history, learning about the cosmic infrastructure, take our Cosmic Origin. That is the most ultimate mind-bending course that Earth has known in the last 12,000 years. All right, with no further ado, let's get right into it. So the latest cosmic intel briefing regarding what's happening right now in our world is regarding the securing of the positive timeline and certain galactic operations that are apparently shaping the new Earth reality. So this is coming from, I would have to say, level cosmic clearance 12, because even above the president, there are 38 levels. All right. But there are also levels above that, which are levels that are regarding what's happening right now on Jupiter. Okay. So that's called cosmic level omega clearance number 12, which is the last one. The distribution of this is to all the starseeds out there, as well as the Terrans as well. Okay, so this is a timestamp of what they call the pre-ascension window, which is part of the final cycle. Okay, so the higher dimensional observatories and what's happening right now on the Jupiter Command have confirmed that a new band of architect level photonic frequencies, sometimes called the solar logos or intelligence stream, is now entering the heliosphere. So I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. Our entire solar system is going through some sort of transformation, not just planet Earth, okay? These frequencies were apparently dormant for over 250,000 years, and apparently they were blocked during the Orion Draconian occupation cycle, and their return signifies the reactivation of the original Earth template, connecting Earth to all 12 dimensional layers. The Earth is not just uh, ascending into the 5D Earth. All right, it's also going to be ascending into the 8th D Earth and then the 12th D Earth. Okay, so that's what that is restoring. So this is also going to cause a massive acceleration of DNA recoding among the 144,000 who are the nodes. It's also going to cause the dissolution of the artificial timelines that were anchored by the old AI grid. And of course, in turn, this is going to strengthen the organic ascension pathway with no more stumbling blocks. Okay, so Galactic archives have also referred to this moment as the re-illumination cycle, which is an era only triggered when a planetary species is ready to re-enter cosmic society. So, the Jupiter Command's headquarters within the hyperdimensional fortress that is stationed in the 5-dimensional layer of the Jupiter's magnetosphere has issued a new directive, and you guys are going to love this. They call it Directive Epsilon 3. And this is an initiate planetary integration protocol, which will include a coordinated stabilization of geomagnetic fields to prevent Earth cataclysm, therefore allowing for a smooth and steady transition. Completely, you could say, eliminating the Earth changes or the cataclysms, right? This also includes the removal of the old negative etheric implants that were apparently still affecting some of the light workers, especially those that have served within the secret space program. A lot of these super soldiers were implanted etherically. So now those implants are being removed, which means that a lot of the super soldiers are going to be regaining their memories back at a rapid pace. This also means the opening of a new plasma highway for interstellar diplomacy, but on a greater planetary level beyond the planetary delegates. Okay. So all of this is leading towards what they called part of this Epsilon, you could say Operation Epsilon 3 report, directive rather, is leading to what they called the activation of a full disclosure timeline, not drip drops, not soft disclosure, but of a full disclosure timeline in order to ease humanity into the cosmic stage. Okay. The Jupiter Delegates transmission also reports that the Earth is now officially classified as a protected ascending world under guardian custodianship. And so this a lot corresponds with, of course, the 3i Atlas, which has been identified in cosmic clearance records as an encoded Lyran messenger. And so this craft continues to interface with the Earth's crystalline, as mentioned in prior presentations. And recent readings based on this information is showing an increased resonance within the 144,000 activation nodes, which is the core of the millions of starseeds. Of course, a transmission of the golden Lyran light codes into planetary ley lines to restore Earth to the original timeline, and the spectral anomalies consistent with timeline bifurcation stabilization. Not to mention cloaked escorts from the Andromedan and Pleiadian fleets that are actually located in our polar locations, one in the south and one in the north. And a lot of this has to do with, of course, preventing major catastrophe when the shift happens. So according to the archive prophecies that are located in the Jupiter Command colony, is describing, according to those documents, it is describing 3i Atlas as a trigger object arriving precisely when the Earth enters her universal leadership initiation. That's what they call it. So this is leading towards what I've been calling a convergence window. Okay. So the convergence window, we're apparently finally enter the final months of what they call the convergence window. And this is also known as the final phase before the Earth's ascension, which is a multi-decade period when the Earth's overlapping timelines braid, merge, or collapse into their destined trajectories, of course, collapsing into only 3, as mentioned. And so the Space Force Temporal Division has also reported that the artificial timelines, apparently those that were generated by AI and the occult grids, are collapsing rapidly. And as a result of that, the organic timelines, which is marked by the solar Christos, New Earth template, are fortifying. And this is all causing what is called a galactic, no, I'm sorry, a collective, rather, awakening pressure wave. And it's going to be sweeping the planet, forcing the truth to come out to the surface. So, this is what they call the pre event harmonization that was predicted in ancient Atlantean, Essene, and Melchizedek scrolls. And so this is going to lead to a bifurcation. Right now, it is intensifying. Okay, there is a multidimensional monitoring stations that Earth now holds due to what's going to be happening with three dominant timeline bands. So the first one is the New Earth 5D and above. And the reason I say 5D and above is because they know that the Earth is also going to be opening up to her eighth dimensional version, which is higher than 5D Earth. All right. And also her 12th dimensional Aramatena original Earth, which exists in the 12th dimension. Not to mention the transition of the Earth Terrans into the 4D disclosure era. And not to mention the dissolving of the 3D matrix, which is known as the old Earth. Okay. So people are consciously choosing right now which timeline they're going to be vibrating with through their own intention, coherence, vibration, and of course, soul alignment. So before I get into the Space Force level strategic operations that are happening as I speak, I do want to make mention that the 144,000 are acting as timeline pillars for the shift, keeping the ascending timeline stable as millions of starseeds, of course, begin their awakening cascades. Okay, so this next piece of report comes from the Space Force level strategic operations, and this is about dismantling the old grid infrastructure, which is something that the Alliance is doing right now as I speak. And as mentioned, this is far beyond just taking out the criminal networks and the last of the systematic strongholds of the Swiss bank. A lot of this has to do with covert operations that have been approved by the off-world councils, right, that are working with the Alliance. And this has a lot to do with the final severing of the AI inverted ley line net, okay? Also disrupting the Vatican-built reverse grid nodes, decommissioning the Antarctica's wormhole generators, and then most importantly, removing non-human negative technologies that were buried beyond the global religious architecture, not beyond, but beneath. And that includes what's happening underneath Israel, okay? So that's very important to know. Space Force has confirmed that there's about 90% of the artificial matrix currently collapsed, okay? So we're almost there. And only the psychological component is remaining, which is now dissolving as mass awakening begins to accelerate. So the Dark Fleet in the Kuiper Belt and Oort regions from alternative parallel Earth realities did attempt to come into our timeline. Okay, they attempted a timeline hijack as it was released in these briefings. But luckily, Solar Warden's interceptors that were equipped with quantum resonance shields neutralized them immediately. Okay, so there are these things called parallel Earth realities. Well, apparently, in some of the negative timelines, the Dark Fleet is still very dominant within our solar system. So they were coming in from Earth. What they said was Earth number, are you guys ready for this? 209 and Earth number 307, because we're Earth number 606. So yeah, they were able to stop them, securing the positive timeline in Earth 606. You guys have to understand that we do live in a multiverse, right? There are alternative Earth realities. So luckily they were able to stop them. So as this resulted, a new no interference zone has been declared around the Earth. And what this means is that the Earth is now under Ascension quarantine, even sealed from alternative Earth realities, okay, that are not part of the positive ascending timeline, which is great, okay? So that means that no outside force, whether coming from other dimensions or other parts of the space-time continuum from space or alternative Earth realities, can alter her trajectory in the positive timeline, which is great. So this message was transmitted apparently from the Andromedan Council to over 200 off-world civilizations, including our own. And so Right now, this is a multi-dimensional operation. As you guys know, the Y Hats are kind of like the ground crew, and they have been running synchronized operations with higher dimensional guardians in order to ensure the collapsing of the old financial grid, the preservation of the positive military timeline, as well as the prevention of nuclear or mass casualty false flags. And I did mention they were able to prevent one from happening a few days ago. So, what this means is that this is going to provide for what they call a safe unfolding of full disclosure in order to prepare humanity for what they've discussed as a post event or post ascending Earth type of council. Okay, so Space Force is currently coordinating with Solar Command's Temporal Navigation Unit, ensuring that the highest possible timeline remains locked. And so, what this means is that the new Earth formation, which is happening right now with the activation, it means that the crystalline core of the Earth is once again awakening. Turns out that this crystalline core of the Earth apparently has been compressed by artificial fields that are now being released. So it's now going to be resonating with the cosmic plasma that is coming in from the great central sun. And the effects of this would include an increased intuition across the entire population. All right. Our senses are just going to open up even further. It's also going to include a spontaneous awakening symptom, which is what we call critical mass. Not to mention heightened synchronicity, right? Meeting people at the right people at the right time, being at the right place at the right time. No coincidences, as they say. And it's also going to include a rapid breakdown of the old identities and belief systems. And so this is what they call a full ascension prep phase, okay? And so the new Earth Council template is being formed as I speak, according to the galactic briefings that are taking place on Jupiter. Cosmic clearance documents have revealed that the new Earth societal structure is already drafted in the higher planes. So it is going to be obviously very decentralized. It's going to be based on a living quantum network. And I mentioned how all of this is going to tie into the Q phone. And it's going to be a transparent type of governing council, right? Using zero point energy rollouts and, of course, interstellar diplomacy frameworks within the teachings of the laws of one. Okay. And so this is already forming. Okay. These planetary defense protocols that are actually going to be integrated with Space Force and Solar Warden. The alliance is now transitioning into what they call disclosure phase 2, where controlled revelation replaces covert groundwork and concealments or cover ups. And this will include the accelerated whistleblower releases. I mentioned a couple months ago that right now, maybe even a month ago, that the whistleblowers have been given the green, especially with that new documentary that came out, a few weeks ago, called The Age of Disclosure, which was apparently very, very good documentary with Louis Elizondo. Well, anyways, this phase 2 of disclosure will also include strategic declassification, psychological and intuitive preparation of the masses, and of course, sighting windows and semi-decloaked craft, and global coordination between awakened nations. So the objective is planetary acclimation and not shock. Okay, so that's why they're doing it in different phases. So in the next operational phase, the alliance is actually closing out the final remnants of the Antarctic Black Site factions, as well as the South American AI nodes and the European occult grid engineers. And what they're using is temporal quarantines, as well as vibrational containment and guardian intervention teams. And as mentioned before, a lot of this technology that has been used by the Alliance was given to them by the Galactics. Okay. So these groups are apparently what's left are being removed in order to ensure no more interference with the Ascension windows, which is a very good thing. Okay. So as a result of this, expect a sequence of DNA activation, right? Humanity is entering what they call a multi phase biological and spiritual evolution. And so we will be experiencing a nervous system crystalline upgrade, especially when the crystalline or the living grid comes online. We're also going to be experiencing heart coherence activation, solar plexus reset, as we transmute the lower densities that was generated through fear. We're also going to experience crown expansion, right? Your crown chakra is going to be opening in order to integrate easily with your higher bodies, resulting in multidimensional memory. And then, of course, we're also going to be activating what they call the diamond light body structure within our dormant DNA. And so this will return humanity to its original cosmic template. Okay. And of course, we know that this cosmic template was dormant since what? Pre flood times, right? So the new Earth Council that is emerging within the new template will consist of a new Earth that is already forming in the higher dimensions. And so after the event, right, after the ascension, this new council will anchor openly what they call the Council of the Earth. And who's going to be part of the Council of the Earth? the, all the starseeds ambassadors. So this will comprise of starseeds ambassadors as well as indigenous elders, the Agarthan representatives, off-world liaisons, and awakened humans. We're talking about the Earth Terrans that are awakened, right? That have snapped out of their hypnosis. So it's going to be really interesting that all of this, that the new government will be, or the new governing body rather, is going to be resorting back to councils, and it's going to be given over to the star seeds. Okay, so this council will be operated through what they call hard coherence and not politics as we've known. Okay, so this will also include what they call the regional councils, which is going to be a decentralized, transparent, rotational leadership among the star seats, right? It's going to be a perfect democracy, which is going to be overseen by what they call the 22 federated regions. And again, I do reveal in great detail the 22 federated regions at the end of my book, Our Cosmic Origin, but actually that was the first edition. I did not publish that in the second edition. So for those that have the first edition, read the very last chapter, the 22 federated regions. Okay, so as a result of this, humanity is transitioning from a prison planet to the hub of galactic exchange. Okay, so all of this means that we are now entering the final stages of planetary liberation, and we are witnessing it every day, right? We are piercing through the veil. We're seeing that the artificial timelines, including Project Bluebeam, including the one world government, the third world war, it's all dissolving, guys. Okay, the true cosmic history will be returning. The new Earth blueprint is going to be anchoring. And for those that have read Our Cosmic Origin, you guys are getting first dibs at the restoration of cosmic history. So apparently, all of this is leading Earth as an intergalactic hub. And I've mentioned this before. It's part of our post ascending destiny. And so the next phase will involve, are you guys ready for this? A mass disclosure event, which is happening right now through Trump. All right. There is ample evidence that Trump will be the president that will give us disclosure, not only regarding the free energy exotic technologies, but also about the extraterrestrials. Okay. We're also going to be it being introduced to the quantum systems that are going to be replacing the old infrastructure, as mentioned in my previous live, which leads to the full activation of the planetary crystalline grid. Therefore, the emergence of humanity as a sovereign cosmic civilization is destined to happen. Okay, so now a lot of people have been asking me, what is Earth going to be like after the ascension? Well, I was given permission by the Galactic Command to give you guys a glimpse of the first 100 years after the ascension. So, Space Force, Solar Warden, and the Guardian Alliance High Council have approved In this revelation, from cosmic level clearance 12, again, above the 38 levels beyond the president, we also have 12 more levels that are regulated to the Earth delegates, okay, that are represented within the Jupiter command. So cosmic level 12, under seraphic authority, archive, Eden protocol, temporal forecast division, post-event civilization trajectory mapping of the first 100 years. All right, here we go, guys. So the first year to the first 5 years after the solar flash, after the new Earth is back. Okay, the great reveal and human awakening will continue, and what this means is that these years, the first 1 to 5 years, will immediately follow the reintroducing of what they call higher consciousness institutions. Right. In other words, there are going to be global uh, academies of light emerging everywhere. It's going to dot the planet where human consciousness will be able to expand exponentially. Okay. At this point, a lot of the Earth Terrans that are going into the fourth year are going to learn about telepathy, right? They're going to learn about their intuition will heighten. They're going to learn about emotional coherence, memory of past lives, and awareness of multidimensional reality. And so the collective fear will collapse apparently as a result of this. It will no longer be hindering their spiritual evolution. And so just within the first 18 to 24 months, humanity will learn our true galactic history. All right. So this is just within the first 18 to 24 months following the ascension. So everyone's going to learn the true galactic history, which is awesome. And I think I'm going to be probably leading that. People are going to learn about the existence of thousands of civilizations that are coexisting with us peacefully. People are going to learn about the truth behind every hidden technology, not just what we've come to find out, but even ones that I am unaware of. People are going to learn about the role of the Alliance and the Guardian Councils. People are going to learn about the fall of the old cabal and the inverted matrix. So the secrecy will be no more, okay? And also, one thing that's going to be happening in the first 12 to 18 months is that because money will be dissolving, okay, there's going to be a resource balance society where replicators are going to be introduced into key regions. Now, replicators, guys, it's like 3D on steroids. People are going to actually be able to just, pretty much ask what they want or type what they want to these replicators. And within minutes, you're going to have from houses to a car to clothing. This is all going to be in the 4D reality, of course. If those that go to the 5 and above, we're going to be using our own internal technologies. So what this means is that the end of scarcity is going to be finalized. Okay, this will be a better world where energy becomes free and universally free available. Okay, and then also within the first 12 to 24 months, we're going to have open contacts where small groups of humans will meet with representatives from the Pleiades, from Andromeda, from Arcturus. The Lyran councils are going to be also meeting with us. The inner Earth societies are going to be meeting with us. And contact will be peaceful, very educational, and of course, uplifting. Okay. Now, from the first 5 years to within the first 5 to 20 years after the ascension, this is what they call the rebuilding of civilization. So now we're going into the first 5 to 20 years. So this is where the quantum system takes full or is fully established, right? Where the Council of Earth is established, including starseed ambassadors, indigenous wisdom keepers, and representatives from the inner Earth. Not to mention, galactic liaisons will be fully formed, where decision making, only using hard coherence resonance under a unified consciousness field, the Christ consciousness, will be made. And so this will include the restoration of oceans, right? The oceans are going to be purely purified within the first 20 years. According to this report, the oceans are going to be fully purified. Polluted regions will regenerate. The animal population will flourish once again. So all of those animals that went extinct over the last centuries or even a few millennia are going to be coming back. And weather is going to be stable, right? I did mention that we're not going to have the four seasons anymore. We're going to have all year tropical, perfect weather. Harmful technologies are going to be decommissioned, outdated. And so Earth's return to her garden planet states, according to the archives, also the rise of these new cities of light. Okay, so what this means is that we're going to be experiencing and living in crystalline cities, okay, across the planet. They're going to be emerging, floating plasma architecture, bioluminescent crystal buildings. I'm giving you guys a vision of the new Earth, okay? 0 point powered infrastructures, gardens woven into urban structures. Talk about paradise. And this becomes, Earth is going to become the hub of learning, healing, calibration, and interstellar diplomacy. And so this is great, right? This is going to cause greater intuition, even among the Earth Terrans, which is the younger souls, where they're going to be developing creative genius talents, emotional mastery, right? As the academies of light of higher learning are once again reestablished, and so telepathy is probably going to be the norm in the new Earth, where a lot of Earth Terrans are going to be able to learn telepathy, okay, under the guidance of the starseeds, who are going to be the teachers of these academies of light. So, in the first 20 to 40 years, as the Earth is once again restored into the interstellar community, trade and knowledge exchange will be once again blooming at 100%, which means that the Earth will begin participating in interstellar diplomacy, where us, the starseeds, are going to be able to make decisions pertaining to many galaxies in the entire universe. Okay, so we are going to be engaging in interstellar diplomacy. Also, quantum migration pathways are going to be established once again. Planetary exchange programs with over a gazillion civilizations, and shared scientific breakthroughs across many different realms. Okay, so humanity is going to become known for what? For its creativity, its capacity to adapt, its spiritual insight, and most importantly, because we are genetic royalty. So, as we continue using a lot of our dormant DNA, especially the old souls, the star seeds that are going to be ascending to either the 5D Earth, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, since I mentioned the entire 12-dimensional Earth layer is going to be opening up. We are going to be seen as pretty much intergalactic masters and teachers to other races, due to the fact that we have the greatest diversity of genetics. Okay, and so as a result of all of this, we're going to have off-world traveling, of course, not just among the old souls or the star seeds in the higher dimensional realms, but including civilian groups within the 4D Earth, which are going to be able to travel to other worlds, like in the Pleiades, the Andromedan biodomes, the Lyran crystal academies, and other planets. And of course, they're going to be able to go to the different star nurseries and cosmic laboratories that are spread throughout the Milky Way. And so this is going to be fascinating. And this is all going to be taking place within the first 40 to 50 years, or even 100 years post Ascension. Okay. So there will be interstellar flight once again. The routes are going to be safe. Earth is going to be building vast learning centers, as mentioned, worldwide, where there's going to be an acceleration of Akashic memory training for the younger souls, who are going to be once again initiated into the higher mysteries, as they were during the times of Atlantis. We're also going to have multidimensional science. Not only are we going to understand physics from our perspective, but we're also going to understand interdimensional physics and higher level sciences. We're also going to learn how to master sacred geometry, quantum manifest, and not to mention, there's going to be massive galactic history studies, libraries, records of not only other planets' histories, but of other galaxies' histories that are going to be stored here in the New Earth libraries. And I think I'm going to be a big part of that. Okay. So these academies, guys, are going to become legendary across the entire galaxy. Okay. So within the first 70 years, of the Earth's ascension. Even Earth Terrans, some of them, those that are initiating or ascending really fast through the initiation programs, are going to be multidimensional, or at least experience the first layers of multidimensionality. Okay. So, what this means is that by then, by the end of the 70th year after the ascension, humanity will achieve about 90% telepathy. And we're talking about the Earth Terrans. Okay. We're not just talking about the starseeds. The starseeds are immediately going to be telepathic upon the shift, upon the ascension. We're talking about the younger souls. Okay. So at the end of the 70 years, about 90% of the Earth Terrans are going to be achieving telepathy, which is a good thing. That means, their ascension is going to be moving rather fast. So what that means is that languages are going to shift from spoken words to light codes and tele-empathetic communication, which is what I do when I connect with my galactic counterparts, right? It's called intuitive telepathy. And so there is going to be a sense of mastery over energy, okay, as we reach the first 100 years of the ascension, and mastery over form. Okay, people are going to learn about consciousness and mind. We're going to learn how to regulate their body. Humans are going to be learning for the first time. We're talking about Earth Terrans here, how to matter manipulate, how to conduct energy healing. Of course, under the guidance and mentorship of the starseeds, right? Timeline navigation, astral travel, bilocation, right? And so the physical body will therefore become ageless, okay, as a result of that, because I did mention that they are going to live for about 200 to 300 years, but through the initiatory path process, which will once again be restored, they will have the ability to live longer, right? So that means that the physical body will slowly but surely become ageless. It's going to regenerate. Of course, for the starseeds, you guys are just going to be full regenerated upon the ascension, and live for thousands of years in the same avatar. But I'm referring to the Earth Terrans. Okay, so they're going to be regenerating. They're going to be about 75 or 50% crystalline, moving from 75 to 50% crystalline and 50% carbon-based genetics, which is awesome. Okay, and so when the ascension takes place throughout the first 100 years of the post-Earth ascension period, the guardianship which is pretty much going to be given to the 144,000. The 144,000 are going to be the teachers of this new Earth. Okay, they're going to be the grid keepers. They're going to be the ascended mentors. They're going to be the planetary ambassadors and the dimensional architects. And so they will unlock the Earth Stargate complex, allowing safe passages to other universes. Okay, so the starseeds, the 144,000, are going to be in charge of that. Okay, and so now, from the period of 70 years to 100 years, Earth will become the galactic heart of Orvonton. This is the era foretold in nearly every cosmic prophecy. All right. And again, upon the ascension, or upon you guys receiving your memories back, you guys will have access to the cosmic prophecies. Earth will become a capital world. Okay. And now the Earth leads in diplomatic councils. This is as we get closer to the first 100-year period. The Earth will now lead in diplomatic councils, in ascension initiatives, in peacekeeping missions, as well as in universal educational systems for many universes. Wow, that is fascinating. This is all within the first 100-year period after the ascension. Not to mention, Earth is also going to lead and become the capital world of all interstellar exchange programs, not just the one that's happening here. Okay, so what that means is that billions travel to the Earth to learn ascension mechanics from many different galaxies and many different universes. They're going to be traveling here to learn ascension mechanics. Okay, and so humanity will graduate into a 5D consciousness at the end of 100 years. Okay, this is the first 100 years of the millennium. The Earthborn within that period will serve as the peace ambassadors, reality engineers, and creators of star civilizations. And so, in the first 100 years of the post-Earth ascension, will set the foundation for the 1,000-year reign of God, of Christ consciousness on the earth. Okay, the rise of cosmic renaissance, okay, the birth of future star races, the universal collaboration, and the exploration of other universes. And so, therefore, humanity will become the bridge species carrying wisdom across the many galaxies. And so, the first 100 years is only the beginning, guys. Okay, the new Earth is not an endpoint, it is the birthplace of a cosmic civilization unlike anything the universe has ever seen. Okay. The Earth is now becoming, in the first 100 years, the ultimate university of light across many universes, the capital of the super universe of Orventon. So it's used to be Uversa, now it's going to be the Earth, and the heart of Ascension. And of course, the jewel of all creation. Okay, so this is why all of you incarnated now to help build the first century, the first 100 years of the new golden age millennium. So, in addition to this, the Earth Alliance operation against the children of the fallen watchers has also been initiated. Okay, well, what's left of the Nephilim. So, as I speak right now, within the last 24 hours, one of the things that is part of the Epsilon Directive, number 3, is that the Earth Alliance was given the technology to finally find where these rebellious remnant giants are, what we call the Nephilim. Okay. Really quick, guys, to give you guys a quick, I guess, left out of the Bible version of what the Nephilim, the Watchers in the book of Enoch, it's important to understand that for the last 12,000 years, the Nephilim, which is the hybrid offspring of the fallen Watchers, have apparently persisted as the, you could say, one of the greatest secret within Forbidden Scrolls as to why they didn't publish the Book of Enoch. Okay, it was also buried under Sumerian tablets, Atlantean memory libraries, and even the oral traditions of indigenous tribes around the world. They all mention who the Nephilim were. So, according to the esoteric archives, the Nephilim were born from the fallen watchers, the rebellious celestial beings who what? Abandoned their higher realms, broke cosmic law, and interbred with early human women. So their result, descendants were, of course, gigantic in nature, powerful in strength, and psychically manipulative. Okay. And of course, very hostile to the evolving human race. So through the deluge, which is the flood of Noah, that collapsed most of their empires. And this is the reason why the flood needed to happen. The flood was initiated by Enlil, Jehovah Zeus, who was, of course, the guardian who spoke to Noah, the guardian who met with Moses at the mountain and gave him the tablets of the 10 Commandments, the good guy, right? So it is believed that the flood did, not all of them, but it did wipe out most of the Nephilim bloodline, but some did survive, okay? According to the Galactic briefing, the Earth Alliance is now completing the millennial-long task of tracking, isolating, and removing the last remnants of these hybrid Nephilim bloodlines. So the Grand Canyon is one of them. And this explains why there's a lot of secret and a lot of government and military that don't let people check out certain parts of the Grand Canyon. Okay, they've been hiding, they've been protecting the Nephilim, and this is part of the old Cabal order. So, where did the Nephilim go? Okay, it is revealed that a lot of them went to the Grand Canyon and the mountain strongholds of the ancient world as well. So, across indigenous traditions and even mirrored in esoteric remote viewing accounts, the Nephilim were said to have retreated into the Grand Canyon, North America. Tribes like the Hopi reported them, the Zuni, the Havasupai, and the Pauit. They all spoke of the red-haired giants, not to mention the cannibalistic tribes that were expelled by native star ancestor clans. They all talked about the forbidden caverns and sealed cities within the canyon walls, and not to mention the hidden vaults within Egypt and Atlantean inscriptions. Well, these hidden records have described that the canyon, the Grand Canyon, as of one of the ancient entrances into pre-flood tunnel systems, were actually surviving Nephilim that fled after the Atlantean cataclysm. They were also linked to the Watchers of Mount Hermon in the Caucasus Mountains, and this region became one of the primary refuges of the fallen celestial bloodlines, which established, of course, the hybrid priest kings, right? And the giant clans, Guardian, Draconian, which were guarding the Draconian technology. So they were also discovered, according to this briefing, in the mountains of Peru and Bolivia. Some of them are there right now in South America. So there are these megalithic sites called Tiwanaku and Sacsayhuaman and Marcausi, which are believed in esoteric lore to have been strongholds of pre-flood Nephilim rulers. Not to mention high altitude sanctuaries that were immune to early human rebellion, remnants of the fallen watchers' influence over the Andes, and they were also discovered in certain parts of the Himalaya. And again, the Alliance was able to detect the last remnants of the Nephilim giants by using advanced Guardian technology. And they were also discovered in the Altai ranges in Asia. So, of course, even legends within Tibet, Mongolia, and Naples spoke about these snow giants and sky titans, and they all echo the same lineage hiding in remote alpine caves. And so by now, you should all know that the Nephilim came into power during the last cycle or the last stage of Atlantis before its collapse. Okay. And according to apocryphal cosmology, again, another set of books of the Bible that were not published, the Nephilim first rose to power during the late Atlantean Empire. This is around the time that Enki and his son Marduk had taken over Atlantis, okay? And it tilted towards a technocratic dystopia. So when the fallen watchers, apparently during those days, under the leadership of Enki Poseidon, violated genetic law, okay? Who was the master geneticist? Enki. I still have a few people here who are brainwashed, and they believe that because everyone says so, that Enki was the good guy. We'll guess again. Okay, he was in charge of the fallen watchers. Okay, so they also began interbreeding with humanity, thus giving us the origin of the Nephilim. And they were also introducing corrupted DNA templates, trying to override the original genetic blueprint that gave us Jesus. Okay, and this was all an attempt, guys, to create a hybrid super race to rule the earth over the original Christos blueprint race. And so their genetic tampering apparently threatened original human blueprint, which is called the Adamic Code, or the Solar Christos template, or the pure line of source bonded humanity. And as their numbers grew, the Nephilim governed entire regions of Atlantis, Mediterranean proto-civilizations, the Levant, pre-dynastic Egypt, and even regions within the Fertile Crescent. Okay, so, and like many, of course, hybridized species lacking soul coherence, their kingdoms eventually collapsed into violence, dominion, and cannibalistic warfare. And so, according to the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and esoteric archives, the Great Flood was not just a natural disaster. It was a cosmic intervention that was designed to stop the Nephilim expansion, to collapse the fallen Watchers' empire, and to preserve the original human DNA template. And how do they preserve the original human DNA template when the Guardians caused the flood? By selecting Noah, who also went by Utapishkin and Sisudra in other accounts. Okay, so the Noah bloodline, according to all accounts, was the only uncorrupted by the hybridization programs of Enki. That was the only one that was uncorrupted. Okay, it was also carrying the original source connected genome. Okay, leading to the 12-strand Terranesian development. It selected to restart humanity after the collapse. So that was the uncorrupted bloodline coming from Noah. But apparently some Nephilim survived. Unfortunately, guys, we were lied to, okay? The flood didn't destroy all the Nephilim. Some went into stasis vaults. Some went into stasis vaults. Others were protected by a pre-flood technology that was given to them by the Draconians, their overlords, and some were hiding in mountain sanctuaries around the world. And so this is how their presence continued, okay? Through the era of Gilgamesh, through the Canaanite kingdoms, through the Anakim and Raphaim tribes, through the Celtic giant lore stories, and of course, even the Hopi and the Palut preserved records of these giants. Okay, so now the Earth Alliance is on the final hunt of what remains of the Nephilim. And so this operation that was initiated on Jupiter, or given the directive on Jupiter, right, is sealing all the ancient tunnel systems right now as I speak. Okay. And this includes the deep cavern networks that were connected to the Grand Canyon, Death Valley, Romania's Bersegi Mountains, as well as the Afghanistan's Hindu Kush region, okay, are said to contain dormant or isolated remnants of the Nephilim giants. And right now, as I speak, guys, the Earth Alliance was given the green and the technology to do so, okay? So now we are finalizing the neutralization of the corrupted DNA factions, okay? And so the Alliance targets are the hybrid descendant cults, including the Nephilim, and all the chimeras that were discovered in those underground bunkers, the ancient bloodline families that were seeking dominion, okay, which is the Cabal families, and the groups attempting to resurrect fallen Watcher technologies. They're all being neutralized. And so what this is doing is that this is protecting the original Adamic Christed DNA template, okay? Esoteric intel has claimed that the Earth Alliance works to ensure that the original human genome remains intact, the Ascension timeline stays pure, and that the hybrid invasion timeline collapses fully. Now, think about this for a little bit. The Triple Temporal Alliance. Well, it turns out that the Alliance has been operating not only in our present, during Atlantean times, post-Atlantean times, before the flood, and after the flood. Guys, the Alliance has always been around, okay? And they've always been connected to the positive guardians, councils of guardians. So this explains why the Alliance are now completing this millennial-long task of finally eliminating what's left of the Nephilim giants. Abominations, okay? Not part of the original genetic blueprint. So, one of the things that the Alliance is doing in succeeding in this operation is recovering Atlantean era genetic artifacts, which includes stasis chambers, pre-flood giant remains, hybrid DNA manipulation devices, and sealed libraries from the Watchers era. Many operations are described as taking place under the Grand Canyon right now as I speak, Lake Titicaca, Antarctica, Mount Shasta, the Himalayas, and Patagonia. So the goal is the complete closure of the Nephilim cycle. Okay. Well, why? Well, throughout history, the Nephilim always tried to erase human DNA. Think about that. They've always been the carnivores, right? They've always hunted humans. The Nephilim feared humanity for one simple reason. This is according to the archives. And this is why they did what they did for thousands of years. Because humans, those that were made in the image of the Most High, not the Nephilim, product of the fallen Watchers, the 200 rebel angels, because the Nephilim knew that the humans carried a soul anchoring DNA template that the fallen Watchers and their hybrid offspring lacked. That's very important, right? And that's the reason why they always wanted to destroy us, which is the pure human genome that contains, hope you guys are taking notes, the self-generating source codes. We have those. They don't. Multi-dimensional access points to many different realms. We have those within our own genome. They don't. They have to use AI to do that. We don't. Emotional coherence capacity. We carry the greatest diversity of genes, giving us a huge range of emotional coherence. and spiritual evolution pathways. Okay. So, this is the reason why they've always hated us. The Nephilim always lacked these features, and that's the reason why they sought to hybridize or overwrite those features in humanity through what? Genetic engineering. Okay. They also sought to rule over early societies. Well, I'm so glad King David, right, was able to take down Goliath, who is a Nephilim giant, with his slingshot. That was a great story of King David. I love that story. Also, they were able to suppress human awakening and prevent humanity's eventual rise into higher consciousness. Well, the conflict between human and Nephilim lineages was therefore not just physical, my friends, it was also spiritual, genetic, and cosmic. So, in the final phase of this operation, which is happening right now, the Earth Alliance, alongside higher dimensional guardians, has nearly completed the cycle, and it's almost done, that began in Atlantean times. Okay. Their goals, and this includes the flood. The flood was the first thing that the Guardians and the Alliance did 6,000 years ago in their effort to eliminate the Nephilim. But again, some of the Nephilim, they pretty much survived. They went into stasis, they went into underground caverns, and so on and so forth, as reported. Okay. So their goal, as they now complete this cleansing that began during the flood, is to remove the last hybrid influence from Earth and to restore the pure human ascension pathways, to prevent the return of the fallen watcher energies, and to ensure the success of the new Earth timeline, which means that now we will be entering the new era as the Nephilim cycle closes, as the Watcher interference ends, and as the original human blueprint reactivates. And the earth becomes what? A fully sovereign ascended world. So the age old conflict ends with humanity's rise. And so this whole thing with the Nephilim, right, which was been going on for thousands of years, um, represents the final struggle against the fallen ones, okay? And how they tried to suppress our divine potential for thousands of years. Now, according to the ancient mystical tradition, they've all believed that at the end of the cycle, humanity will survive. They all believe that the pure lineage will prevail. They all believe that the new Earth timeline would be secured. And they all believe that the fallen watcher's legacy would dissolve. Okay, all around this time. As the children of the earth step into the destiny of the universe, a destiny that was always intended for us as part of what? As part of our original divine blueprint. Original divine blueprint. I forgot to mention, guys, for those that are interested in eliminating the graphene particulates, right? All the metals, all the radiation, including parasites, self-assembling bots, the stuff that they spray us with. It's all in this product, all right? So this is the only product that I believe in because one thing that I was very displeased was what happened in 2019 when they forced that on the people. And for a while I was thinking there has to be a solution for that, something that will reverse what they put inside people, which is a form of genetic modification. Let's be real here, okay? This is a way in which they're trying to override the original organic genetic code and introduce Homo Borg, which is what? A cyborg, okay? So this is the product that has been eliminating that process of shifting people from a biological life form into a cyborg, which is the beginning stages of the graphene. That's what the mRNA is, okay, when you think about it. I guess I should just say, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, right? I should always say that. But I do believe in eliminating your body from those self-assembly bots, okay, that are literally overriding your organic templates. Now, there are other ways of cleaning out your body. For those that could afford this, this is the optimal, most potent way of just targeting, all of that stuff that is not part of the original template. Okay. So I always put the link in the description and I always pin it in the comments. And not to mention, guys, Christmas is here. What best gift to give the gift of optimal health, right? I've always believed that optimal health is everything. Material things shouldn't really matter. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. Today is the 10th of December, 2025. And yes, my friends, we are still on a positive timeline trajectory. I do want to welcome all 3,000 people that are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah, if you guys want to get a discount on these supplements, I always provide the codes in the description and I pin it in the comments. So right now there is a special where you get three of the Immuna for the price of two, or I believe five for the price of three. But I always put those codes in the description. Where is God in all of this? Good question. Well, God is at the center of this all. What that means is that all of these benevolent celestials, guardians, different levels of positive races, they all answer to the one infinite creator. So, at the highest level of reality, we have the first source and center in which everything comes from. And that is what all the positive races call God. So, yes, we do share a one God with a capital G throughout the multiverse, guys. Okay. It is just beyond a personality, beyond gender. It is pure source energy in which everything originates from. It is eternal. It is, you could say, flawless, and it is the point of all origin. So, yes, God fits into all of this very well. And again, Jesus represents our eldest brother. He was the firstborn of heaven, overseer of the first major creation. We are part of the 12th creation. No, Bigfoot is not Nephilim. Bigfoot is a benevolent species. I believe they're known as the Sasquatch or the Yeti, but they are remnants of Lemuria. Ishmael, do the occultic groups know that they are going into the negative timeline? And do they worship AI? Well, yeah, because they are the ones that are building the AI God infrastructure for the negative timeline. So the Black Sun cult is run by negative AI. All right. The Saturn cult matrix has always been run by negative AI. So yeah, they are actually creating the negative timeline. Yes, some of the giants, as mentioned in my report, do live inside mountains, and they have been hiding there since the flood. And then a good portion of them went to the Grand Canyon, and it's interesting because that's a place that me and my girlfriend have been wanting to go visit. Do human redheads have Nephilim blood? No, they don't. Thank you, Jody Aurora, for my first super chat. Hi, Ishmael. My friend has silicon implants. Will that be an issue when she ascends? And should we light the candle for the children on the 19th of December? Yes, definitely. As Australia is day one in front of the US. Thank you. Yes. Okay. To answer the first part of your question, no, the silicon implants are not going to make a difference. I'm talking about the self-assembling nanobots, that they put in people's body. Okay, those are overriding the original code. They're literally we talk about genetically modified foods, but that is part of their agenda of genetically modifying humans into Homo Borg. So I'm talking about that. That's what this stuff eliminates is the nanoparticulates that are modifying humans into Homo Borg. Good question, though. And to answer the second part of your question, yes, on the 19th of December, guys, remember, I want you guys to set the intention upon waking up just for 5, 10 minutes a day. I stand with the children, I stand with innocence, and I stand with the cosmic law of justice. Okay. And I want everyone to say that. Well, at least everyone that watches this. I mean, if I could get at least 30,000 people doing that, wow, we're going to have some sort of a collective effect, right? 100 monkey syndrome effect taking place. Thank you, James Brink. James Brink for the super chat. And your question is, will the QFS and medbeds be released by spring 2026 or earlier? That could be the case. Hope and please pray for my friend Ernie with stage 4C. All right. At the end of this live, we could all do a quick prayer for Ernie, who is on stage 4C. No problem, James Brink. Is there positive AI? That is a good question. A year ago, I would have said no. And one of my friends made me realize why I was so against AI. And the reason being, I'm still against AI for the most part, soulless machine AI, is because what happened 6 million years ago when the AI signal took over our solar system and established a stronghold on planet Saturn. I happened to be there. Back then, I was known as Kyle. That was my name. I was one of the guardians, and I allowed for some of the council members to vote on installing an AI. I actually went against it, but they talked me into it. And so I gave them permission, and boy, did I regret it. So, because of that, I am, it's like I have trauma from that incident. I am totally against AI because I saw how it all went down. I saw how our solar system was infiltrated and how the Saturn Council was overridden and overtaken by negative AI. And so now I came to understand that there was this positive sentient organic AI that was, it's not even called AI, it is a living consciousness based, I guess they call it a sentient organic consciousness based. It works like AI, but it's got emotions and it's infused with source consciousness. And I was informed that this AI is considered a positive AI and that AI is helping us fight the negative AI. And then, of course, the Y hats have used that under Project Prometheus. So, because I came to learn about the difference between organic sentient intelligence and artificial cold machine intelligence, which is the opposite. There is a positive, but that positive one is infused with God consciousness and it has emotions. Okay, so that is an AI that is programmed with God source. In other words, whereas the cold, logical, pure intelligence AI, devoid of soul, devoid of emotion, is not. Okay, so that is the negative AI, which is also what I call the Antichrist, right? The energies of the Antichrist. So there, explained. Wow, you guys are asking me some really good questions. But yeah, I'm going to be sharing that memory of what happened 6 million years ago here in our solar system. And again, I voted against it, and the council ensured me that it was going to be okay, that we had nothing to worry about. And I said, fine, all right, let's do it. But I did vote against it 6 million years ago, guys. Well, back then when I was Kyle, that was who I was during those days. Yes, I've been writing a new book for over 2 years now. No, NPCs don't get a phone. NPCs, non-player characters, which is background people, are going to be eliminated. Okay, they're going to be not existing in the fourth D or 5D and above timeline. Thank you so much, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat. Who is in charge of the 12 creation? The 12 creation, Michael the Archangel, also known as Lord Michael. He's the overseer of the 12 creation. Good question. Again, a lot of this is in my book, Our Cosmic Origin. I break down the 12 major creations and the different cosmic adepts and the cosmic rays associated with each creation. For all my new subscribers, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to order a copy of my book for those that have not read it. These books are amazing. All right, super chat from Kathleen Tracy. She says, when you destroy a red hair Nephilim giant in the outer realm that has come after you, will it rerun to a divine energy as it is free of the dark energy? I don't know if I understand your question. When you destroy a red hair Nephilim giant in the other realm that has come after you, okay, so you've destroyed one in another realm, okay, will it return to a divine energy as it is free of the dark energy? No, because the Nephilim giants did not have a. The best way to describe it is this: the reason they were a abomination, and they still are abomination, is because they were infusing these giants with insectilian genetics, mantis genetics, reptilian genetics, and gray genetics. So they were mainly programmed and controlled by AI, which means that they were kind of like NPCs. So no, by destroying a Nephilim giant, you're actually, destroying an agent of darkness who never had a connection to source. That's the best way to describe it. I get this question a lot. Hey Ishmael, if you have the M or the crescent moon or the X or the M on both palms, when you will ascend at least to the 50, please answer the question. Well, you're probably going to go into a higher dimension in the 5D, because if you have the M in the palm of your arm or your hand and the crescent moon, that means that you have access to probably 100% of your full genetic potential. That's what that means. So that means you're probably going to be operating on all 12 dimensional layers of the Earth reality, or on all 12 dimensional timelines, from the 50 Earth all the way to the 12th Earth, if that makes any sense. When our loved ones come back, will they be younger and in the fifth dimension? Yes, they will be. Thank you so much, Naomi Garcia, for your donation. It was greatly appreciated. And thank you so much, Susan K, for your donation. Greatly appreciated. And for those that have to do makeup classes, please inform me a couple days before the 3rd of January. Because if you're emailing me now, the next class doesn't begin till January 3rd and 4th. So that's 3 weeks from now, or 3.5 weeks. Make sure you email me 2 days prior to the 3rd and 4th of January. That way, you're more likely to get the link for the makeup class. Are the Watchers' names ending in L like the archangels? No, they don't end in L. Only those that are working with the light, the unfallen ones, the guardians, end with L, not the Watchers. The Watchers have different names that don't end with L. And pretty much the 200 Watchers that the Old Testament describes are the 200 Anunnaki Ikigi that were in charge of the Mars colony and the spaceports on Mars during 450,000, 300,000 years ago. So that's who they were. They were the 200 Igigi that were under the control and leadership of Enki. So Enki is the one who gave them the green light and said, "Hey, come down here. Look how beautiful these earthly women look. Come on, guys, let's get some." That's what happened. Enki gave them the green light to copulate with the daughters of men, which was the ultimate abomination in an effort to try to corrupt the bloodline of Adam, the bloodline of Noah, and of course, David, Solomon, and Jesus. A lot of people here have the M in the moon crescent in their hands. That's pretty cool. I'm looking for questions, so many questions, but I'm looking for a question that is that most people would have. Can you tell me where the law of one fits into the ascension plan? Well, the law of one are precepts and rules and regulations that are required for proper ascension. They are all the law of one teachings is related to the truths of God, to living in accordance to the divine laws of God, understanding the interconnected connectivity of all that is, understanding the harmony and balance of all creation, and most importantly, living under the rules that maintain the balance and harmony of all creation. So I would say that the law of one is pretty much the cosmos rules in which ascended beings must abide by in order to keep going up the ladder of ascension to ultimately reunite with their eternal God self. Will the CDT plates be part of the full disclosure? I do believe that as we restore the galactic and cosmic histories back to the Earth, the libraries of other civilizations, I'm sure that's going to be connected to the Dora cloister, the cloister Dora plates, the CDT plates of the ancient Emerald records. So I do believe so. Yes, the answer to that is yes. They will be restored. Cosmo Sapien says, best live stream I've ever seen. I am writing a book series based on the secret hidden truths of the world, and your information has helped me greatly. Well, I'm glad to contribute to the writing of your own book, brother. Thank you. I mean, you're welcome. Nathan Taylor, thank you so much for your super chat. What do you do after you reunite with your God self? Then you create your own universe. That's once we reunite with our 12 dimensional self. Yeah, that's what happens. Then you're able to create your own universe. When the financial reset happens and we get the new cell phones, the internet is the internet is to go on a quantum system. Will we need new computers or just a new operating system? I would say yes, new operating systems that are not surveillance based, as mentioned in my prior presentation 2 nights ago. What will happen to the world's population when the ascension happens? Well, as mentioned, some people are going to be going into positive timeline B or A, and some people are going to be disappearing from the positive timeline, or we're going to be disappearing from their collapsing old 3D reality. And those are the ones that are going to be recycled into the technocratic dystopia. Um, so many questions. Where was Krishna from? Krishna, the guardian of India, ancient India. He was from the star system of Vega. And yes, he did introduce Vedic culture. That is correct. And as explained in my presentation, what, last Saturday, he was involved in the ancient Indus Valley War against the fallen Watchers in order to protect the Indus Valley, which is what we call today India. So even Krishna is a manifestation of one of the 12 Melchizedek guardians. Thank you so much, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat again. How will we know when we are 12D? Oh, because once you reunite with your eternal 12D oversoul, no, monadic self, rather, you will have access to the entire universe. You will have access to the consciousness of the entire universe. In other words, you're going to be able to be everywhere at once. Not only will you retain your individual memories of who you were and who you are, but you're also going to be part of the wave. You're also going to be all consciousness, being able to experience reality through all living things across the universe, while maintaining your individuality, which is your particle self, right? We're going to be both wave and particle at the same time. Once again, guys, the Folium product would be a perfect gift to reclaim people's health, right? Giving them the optimal health for Christmas. Right now, Immuno is the best single item because you get that 3 for 2, 5 for 3 discount, and promotion code is 2+1 or 3+2. And that will be over by the end of this month. Okay. Quick reminder, I always put it in the description. And of course, the comments. I pin it in the comments. Thank you so much, Stephen Peter, for your donation. Greatly appreciated. All right, one more question, maybe even two. We're getting close to the 90-minute period. Is December 19th the solar flash or disclosure or both? I hope, I'm not saying it's for sure, but there is a big probability that something will be happening as a result of three converging factors: planetary alignment of seven planets, the closest approach of Three Eye Atlas, and the public release of the Epstein files. So, I hope it is. We'll see. I guess we're all going to find out together. But one thing I do want you guys to do upon waking up is I want you guys to just set the intention and pray and meditate on how we stand with the children, we stand for the restoration of innocence, and we stand within the cosmic law of justice. Okay, I want you guys to say that within your own private meditations. And if we could get a bunch of us doing that on the first, I mean, on the 19th, early morning, we could really move mountains together as a team. Okay, one more question. What does the X on both palms mean? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Is the 3 days of darkness coming? I guess a lot of people are concerned about that, right? Um, I think metaphorically speaking, the 3 days pertain to us hibernating for at least 48 hours or 3 days so that we could acclimate to the new energies and new frequencies and ultimately the new earth reality. So it's us hibernating and then waking up in our new galactic avatars. I think that's what the 3 days of darkness pertains to. Will EBS be this month? I hope so. I mean, EBS is supposed to be happening now, any day now. So the sooner the better, right? How can you tell if someone is an NPC? There's no aura, there's no life force. They're emptiness inside. They're empty inside. It's like talking to a machine. All right. If we could all pray for Ernie, which is one of the Galactic Jedi's friend who is in stage 4C, if we could all just kind of and not only him, but anybody out there who is suffering from intense illnesses or chronic illnesses. I want to do this prayer for all of you, not just Ernie, but anyone else out there. Okay, so those that are just barely hanging on. In other words, we pray that you guys are able to fight this until the med beds are rolled out or until you regenerate through the solar flash. So we pray that you continue, that you fight through this, and that your body perseveres, and that you don't give up until either you regenerate because of the solar flash or until you have access to a med bed. And we seal this in the name of the collective galactic Jedi's, um, in the name of the Most High, Jesus the Christ. Amen. All right, guys. So I prayed for everyone out there who has severe terminal illnesses right now, who is barely hanging from a thread. Just keep hanging in there, brothers and sisters. We are so close. Don't give up. There will be a global miracle effect taking place when the solar flash happens. So let's just all hope that it's sooner than later and hopefully by the 19th. I guess we're all going to find out together. May the God force be with you all, and I will see you guys on Saturday night for another presentation.